People's Temple was founded in Indianapolis, Indiana during 1954 by Reverend Jim Jones. It was founded in 1954 and lasted up until 1978. Reverend Jones founded this church with the intention to combine and spread Christian elements mixed in with his own personal beliefs and support for communism and socialism. Reverend Jones faced backlash for his support of communism and his progressive views for wanting to integrate African Americans into his church. But despite the backlash, Reverend Jones fought to create his church and to establish it. To gain faith and followers, Jones would convince some members to fake healings and miracles by removing chicken livers and other animal tissues from the participants in a crowd to gain trust and make money. After a couple years, People's Temple grew and gained the attention of international church groups and multiple other reverends. Reverend Jones stayed true to his motives though, pushing his agenda for communism subliminally through finding similarities with stories in the Bible. It was around this time the church gained momentum and Reverend Jones started to demand more from his followers than other churches, such as spending holidays with their church family instead of their blood families in an effort to separate them from their connections to the outside world. After nearly 2 decades of growth and fame, the People's Temple had relocated to California and had its headquarters established in San Francisco. And in the spring of 1976, Reverend Jones even admitted to being atheist and simply using religion as an effort to free people from religion and push his own political ideologies. He pushed further uncommon ideologies around this time, such as physical discipline to children, communal living, and bedding and observing new members. Before all of the publicity and tension People's Temple garnered in 1976, People's Temple had entered a lease agreement for land in the South American country of Guyana. They claimed it was an agricultural project, but its informal name was Jonestown. By 1977, the settlement had 50 permanent residents. Reverend Jones pushed the settlement to his followers as a sanctuary and a paradise away from the wickedness of the world, American fascism, and American racism. Around this time, in 1977, many members and former members of People's Temple began coming forward with allegations of abuse, and Reverend Jones had come under investigation. A congressman named Leo Ryan personally began investigating People's Temple and Jonestown and visited the settlement. During his visit to Jonestown, which had grown to over 900 people by this time in 1978, Leo Ryan was asked by multiple inhabitants if he could take them back to the U.S. with them. When he was leaving, Ryan was intercepted by an internal armed security force of the settlement and was killed, along with 3 journalists and severely injuring 9 other people. That evening, Jones ordered his followers in Jonestown to drink a cyanide-laced grape-flavored Kool-Aid, giving birth to the term "drink the Kool-Aid," which refers to cults and following the crowd. This order to drink cyanide simultaneously killed 918 individuals, including 276 children. Members who refused or were too young to drink, such as infants, were just injected with cyanide. This became the single greatest loss of American lives by a deliberate act until the terrorist attacks of September 11 on the World Trade Center. Jim Jones then committed suicide after having ordered his followers to drink the Kool-Aid. Reverend Jim Jones shot himself in the head. Shinrikyo was a Japanese doomsday cult founded by a man named Shoko Asahara in 1984. Asahara registered his cult in Tokyo as a religious corporation in 1989. After his credibility grew from being registered and making appearances on television and magazines, Asahara gained a lot of followers and implemented a monastic lifestyle where people would live like monks and devote themselves to his cause. Asahara was even invited to give lecture meetings at multiple universities across Japan. Asahara also wrote 2 books titled Beyond Life and Death and Supreme Initiation. Shinrikyo's teachings were based off Vajrayana, which is a sort of esoteric Buddhism, and the Bible. In 1992, Asahara began to identify himself as Christ, claiming himself to be Japan's only fully enlightened master, and also identifying with the Lamb of God. Asahara's belief was that he was to pay for the sins of others and transfer spiritual power to his followers. Asahara also believed and promoted harmful conspiracy theories, scapegoating Jews, Freemasons, the Dutch, the British royal family, and rival Japanese religious institutions. Out of all his conspiracies, the most prominent ones were his doomsday theories. Asahara believed in his doomsday prophecy, which predicted a third world war, ultimately ending with an all-out nuclear war. Asahara believed that a nuclear Armageddon would cleanse the land and relieve human life. He also led a series of terrorist attacks using another secret group hidden from his ordinary followers. On March 20th, 1995, select members of Aum Shinrikyo committed a domestic terrorist attack on citizens of Japan. The members attacked a Tokyo subway system with sarin, a nerve agent that is highly lethal even at low concentrations. Nerve agents disrupt how nerves transfer messages to organs. Inhalation or exposure to sarin could result in death within a minute to 10 minutes. 13 people died as a result of this terrorist attack, and thousands more suffered health effects. After investigations were carried out, it was ruled to have been members of Aum Shinrikyo. They were also linked back to smaller terrorist attacks that had taken place before the subway attack. Disciples of Aum Shinrikyo were arrested, buildings and facilities owned by Aum Shinrikyo were raided, and a warrant was issued out for Asahara's arrest. About 2 months later, on May 16, 1995, Asahara was found in the headquarters of Aum Shinrikyo. He was hiding in an isolated room. After Asahara's arrest, he was accused of having masterminded the Tokyo subway attack, and he was also found guilty of the several other attacks, such as the Matsumoto incident, which was another subway attack using sarin, and the Sakamoto family murder, which was a murder of a lawyer and his family, leading a case against Aum Shinrikyo. Asahara was arrested and spent many years in jail. On July 6, 2018, Asahara was executed by hanging in the Tokyo detention house, over 2 decades later from the sarin attack, along with 6 other cult members.